This is another view of our sales department. I don't know how much you can see. This is Scott Schrader, his desk. He's got his cool little headphone amplifier. Look at the color. I don't know. Can you see this? Look at the color on this thing. See that gold? This was originally black. And Scott found this in a dealer's showroom. It had been in the window. And for so long, the sunlight bleached all the black and turned it this cool gold color. Kind of cool. Anyway, all right, so here we are. We're nippers there. We're trying to do a few different looking sets because this is, I just come here on the weekend and record these, and then you get to see some different parts of PS Audio. Okay, so this question comes from Mark in Grovetown, Georgia. I used to live in Georgia twice, actually. I lived in Augusta, and I lived in Columbus, all thanks to the U.S. government when I was in the Army. Paul, first, thank you for all the wonderful gear. You're certainly welcome. I have a question for you about the Sprout. Sprout is my son Scott's project. It's his dream long. Scott came to me and said, "Hey, Pop, I love the big IRS 5s and all the stuff that PS Audio does, but I'm in my 30s, and people, you know, that make the kind of money that I do and have the musical interests that I do, don't have the space, the resources, the funding to buy anything close to this. Is there a way we could bundle all of this stuff, these speakers, these everything, into a package that normal people could afford?" And I said, you know, yes and no. We can certainly make an all-in-one product that embodies a lot of this stuff. And that's what Sprout was. And I said, you've got full access to PS Audio engineering. You go for it. And Scott, bless his heart, spent the next year and a half, 2 years, coming up with his dream system that he called Sprout. And it's a little integrated amplifier. Is there even, I think there might be one right here. No, all the Sprouts leave real quick. I thought there was one right here that Scott had. Anyway, it's about this big. But this was one of Scott's tenets. It has to be about the size of a novel, and it is, and it's a great product. And I think it retails for $500, and it's an all-in-one integrated amplifier. Anyway, there's a new Sprout 2 coming out sometime, like this summer, and that Sprout 2 will have twice the power, 100 watts per channel instead of 50 watts per channel. And Mark's question is, what difference does that extra power make? And I think that's a good general question, because amplifier power is very misunderstood. In many cases, we would be very comfortable saying more is better. And in fact, if you have a small amp versus a big amp, let's say a 50 watt per channel amplifier versus a 1,000 watt per channel amplifier, you're better off going with the bigger amplifier. Now, I want to kind of clarify that, because I know this freaks a lot of people out. If you have a small speaker, you don't want to hook it up to a 1,000 watt amplifier, right? Because it'll blow it up. No, it won't. That is incorrect. It could blow it up, but that's like saying I don't want to get into a car with a motor that has more than 4 cylinders, because I could step on the gas and drive it off a freaking cliff. Yeah, you could. You could get into a V16 beast, ram it into first gear and fly like Dukes of Hazzard. But you're unlikely to do that. So here's the thing. Amplifier power is not the same as amplifier gain. The gain of an amplifier, let's say that it's typically around 28 to 30, is the same on a 1,000 watt amplifier as it is for a 20 watt amplifier. And what does that mean? It's very simple. Let's just take 30 because I'm not very good at math, and that makes the math easy. If I put 1 volt from my preamplifier into a power amplifier with a gain of 30, I'm going to get 30 volts out. Real simple. That's what gain is, okay? So it also happens to be 30 dB, but we'll put that aside. 1 volt in, 30 volts out. Now that is true for an amplifier with 1,000 watts or an amplifier with 5 watts. Well, okay, an amplifier with 5 watts couldn't put out 30 volts. So let's say 100 watts versus 1,000 watts. Fair enough? The amount of power that an amplifier outputs is dependent on the load, which is the speaker, whether it's 4 ohms or 8 ohms or 2 ohms, and where you have the volume set. Now, if you have a 10 gazillion watt amplifier, yes, you could turn it up to where it blows the woofers across the room, but you're not going to do that. In the same way, you're not going to drive your car off a cliff just because it has enough power to do that, or go, my speedometer on I have a little Audi out here, and my little Audi, it's just a sedan, right? But my speedometer goes to 120 miles an hour. I've never been 120 miles an hour in my life, unless I'm in an airplane. So let's not relate output power to speaker requirements. That out of the way, you choose an amplifier to have as much headroom as you possibly can because it makes it easier on the amplifier. So if we have an amplifier that's 50 watts per channel, that's good for most high efficiency speakers, like the ones we pair up, the little ELACs that we pair the Sprout up with, a perfect pair. But if you had 100, it's going to have a little easier breathing room, and that's about it. It will give you a wider variety of speakers to choose from, but it won't really do much more than that. So I know that was kind of a convoluted answer. I apologize. We'll change venue, and we'll get to the next question. Thanks a lot. Bye.